Hey there, guys. I'm Cerise, and this is my channel. Welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If story time, and especially crime scenes that you have never heard about before, is your type of thing, please subscribe. Let's begin. Well, I guess my name is not very important in this story, but I will tell you that when this story happened, I I was a 55-year-old man. I don't know if I was going through my midlife crisis. I have no clue. A lot of people told me that I was. But I really should be in jail right now. And that is the bottom line. That is clear. But for some reason, the authorities won't put me behind bars, no matter how guilty I feel. You see, I was more of a shy guy, very much of a shy guy when I was in high school. There was a girl that was a senior when I was a junior. She was new in town and she immediately had a lot of friends. She took notice to me and I guess you can say took me under her wing. By the time I became a senior and she was already graduated, her and I started to date. It just felt comfortable and natural. I still was very shy, brutally shy. And we were together for many years. And then when I turned 52, she decided that she was going to quit her job and start doing a business. Her business was great at first. It provided a very good income for the both of us, and I was already making good money. But then she took ill. She got some type of septic inside of her after she had an operation. It was a cosmetic operation. And then she couldn't work any longer. And she was losing clients and she was losing money. And then she lost her business. And I wanted her to know that, it was a good run and she will get well again. And maybe we should start somewhere else. Now, she didn't like any of my friends. She didn't like any of my family. And again, I was not really a social guy. So it's not like I had a whole bunch of friends. But the ones that I did have, she always complained about. And she was never happy going out to gatherings. So I said to her, you know what? Let's just squash it all. I'm going to apply for a job in another state. And if I get that job, we're starting all over again. And so that's what happened. She had to finish off a few of her treatments without getting too personal about what she had to go through. And I got the job with flying colors, and I went to the other state. I stayed there for 3 months, and she was supposed to come follow me. But she took ill again, and I was working so hard I couldn't go take care of her. But my mom was taking care of her, and everything was fine. In the meantime, I fell in love. I fell in love with another woman, and this woman was the woman that had hired me. She's a younger woman. Now, these types of stories, I have done my research, and they happen all the time. But this is one that you would never have heard because it didn't go viral and it didn't go public. It just went cold, and then it well, I don't mean it went to a cold case. I meant it was solved immediately, but it went cold. Let me get to the point of everything. So I fell in love with this woman that hired me. Her and I, we were in love, and it was like a whirlwind romance. It just swept me off my feet. Yes, she was younger, and we were in love. Now, when my wife arrived into town, she could tell right away because we had an event where we had to bring our others, our significant others, and I brought my wife. And by this time, she was feeling better. But emotionally, she could feel that I wasn't there, and I wasn't. Fast forward 4 months. My wife now tailspinned into a depression, and I couldn't get her out of a depression. Something physical I could help her with because it's about healing. Something mental, that was impossible. And so she said to me, she's like, "Do you want to know why I'm depressed?" And I said, "No. Actually, I think I know why." And she's like, "Why?" And I said, "Because after someone heals, sometimes they get sad or sometimes they get very elated. And maybe that's just you. You went into a depression because you lost so much during your sickness." She's like, "Out of everything that has been lost, you are by far the biggest loss. I know I lost you to another woman. I know you don't love me any longer. I know you're not attracted to me like you once were." And I admitted it to her. And she said, "I know that you are in love with another woman. And that other woman is your coworker, your boss." And I admitted it. I said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, both of you are married. How do you plan on being together?" Because something that I didn't tell you, the boss was also married to a man. Well, we decided that we were both going to leave our significant others. And I told my wife that. I said, "We're both going to file for divorce." I was very honest to her. And maybe my lack of social skills is what gave me that lack of empathy for her. But it was clear that I just wanted to get out of what I was in. And this was my choice. And it was also my chance. So I told her, I'm done. I'm done with this relationship. You know, I never really felt like I ever fell in love before, I told her. Because in high school, she was my best friend. Then through college, I was still so extremely shy that I was just happy to have a girlfriend and be getting some type of intimacy. And then it just kind of melted into my whole entire life of just being shy. Well, this new woman, this new boss that I met, she was telling me things that I never heard before. She was like, "Wow, you're so amazing. You're so handsome. I love the way you hold my hand. I love the way you laugh. I love the way you talk. You're so intelligent. I need to be with you every single moment." And we were trying to be together every single moment. It was real love. And then I told my lover that I told my wife that we're going to be leaving our spouses to be together. And my lover said, "Oh, wait, hold up, back up a minute. I'm not ready to do that yet." And I asked her why. Like, I thought we were in love. She's like, "We are in love, but to just move so quickly," she's like, "I can't. Like, there's so many different things in place with my current relationship that I need to resolve it and dissolve it very slowly. I can't just do what you're doing. Like, there's different money issues." And I told her, "Listen, you and I make enough money that we can just, buy ourselves out of this situation." And she refused. And then she lied. She told me that she cannot get a divorce from him because he won't allow her to, and there's all types of different things. Then she told me that he had cancer, and then this lover just became a liar. And how did I find this out? I tapped phone calls in her office. Yes, I did. I set up different wiring devices in her office to hear her conversations with her husband, and everything she was saying to me was a lie. She was actually begging him to stay with her. So it was quite hurtful. And I decided to stay with my wife. And I did so, but I got very angry. And I felt like I was being forced to stay with a woman that I didn't love. And so I thought to myself, how can I get out of this? And also, how can I get my lover back? So I concocted this lie. And I told my wife that this lover won't leave me alone. And I wanted my wife to be sweet to me and be nice to me the way that that lover was. Say nice things to me. So I told my wife, "I want to be with you. That other woman won't leave me alone. But it's just that she says nice things to me and she does nice things for me. And I just wish you could do some of those things." And my wife, she did try. And then finally, I found out that the more she thought she was going to lose me again, the more she would work hard on keeping the relationship together. And this is where I messed up. Sending fake text messages to myself from the internet, pretending they were from the other woman, my ex lover. And my wife would read them and read them. And one day she filled with rage. And she went over to the office that we worked in. I wasn't in the office that day. She went over to the office and she shot my lover in the head. Then she called me on the phone and she said, I got rid of her, but it doesn't feel good. And I know that I will be in prison for the rest of my life for what I've done. She said, so I'm going to now shoot myself in the head. All like that on the phone. I was like, what did you do? What are you talking about? I was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't comprehend what she was saying at the time. And she said she was going to now take her life because she didn't want to spend the rest of her life in jail. And she also said that she knew I didn't love her. And I heard a gunshot. I drove immediately to the office. I couldn't get in. Police were there. I sat down with the police and I told the police I had no part of that plan. But I was honest with them about everything else. And that possibly the plan was because of games I was playing. And the police told me it was none of my fault. They said, yes, if anything, I was a first-class jerk. If anything, I was definitely foolish in how I handled my relationship. But I was not guilty. I wasn't guilty of this crime. And I begged them over and over, and they wouldn't allow me to take any type of punishment for this. And then things went cold. Then I had a dream one night that my wife was sitting on the end of my bed and she was crying and she was yelling at me and saying that I was guilty. So in the morning, I went down to the police station and I told them, please help me. Help me. Just put me in prison. Help me to understand that, what I did was wrong. And they said, what you did was wrong, 100%. What you did was something that triggered your wife. But you were not part of the plan and you were not part of the crime. You are part of the problem, but we can't charge you for murder when you were not part of any type of anything. So you see, at the end of the day, 2 women in my life gone, and I feel really bad about it. I just want to say, don't play games with women's hearts and don't play games with people's lives. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining. That one there is a lesson to us all, for us to have to sit back and rethink what we do to other people when we're in relationships and we feel like they're not doing things for us to make us feel good, or when we feel unloved, or when we feel like we want to get someone's attention through revenge. It never works. What works is to love yourself, accept rejection, and move on. There's always someone out there for you. Have yourself a wonderful day, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Storytime here and to Crimes You've Never Heard of. Take care.
Seems like things really turned around for you.
Yeah, and it's all because I listened to what my soul coach told me. Ugh, I don't know what I'd do without her.
You pay someone to give you advice? I should be a soul coach. Seems easy enough. Chat to people and get paid.
I don't think you should. She has a really reputable business. She's on TV, lives in the Dominican Republic, and is even on the radio. Someone who has a lot of good advice for me and my new business. Your constant complaining is so draining. Here's her number in case you want to change that. I've got to get to my meeting. Cerise got me in with the big dogs.
Hi, is this Cerise? I was wondering if I could book a session.